You know, Dave, every now and then I like to pamper myself, and what a better place to do it than Milk and Honey downtown. It's a great place to come in, relax, really get treated like a king.
Yeah, I guess you are being treated like a king, and you don't see that on any TV show. Welcome to the Gene and Dave Show, and guess what? You're watching our health episode. We're talking all about health today, from everything that you do externally to your body to internally. We're going to have some great recipes later on in the show. And right now we are at Milk and Honey, and Gene is being pampered.
Yeah, you're going to want to stay tuned for our top 10 list, too. Top 10 slogans for Milk and Honey. And we're at Milk and Honey because it's part of our wellness part of health. And we'll be talking more about that a bit later. But for now, I'm just enjoying a manicure by Jasmine. And, boy, Dave, you know, I think I could get used to this.
Yeah, I bet you could. Speaking of Milk and Honey, we have a top 10 list of great new slogans for them.
Lizzie is the PR person over here at Milk and Honey downtown, and she's going to help us with our top 10 list today. This is the top 10 slogans for Milk and Honey. All right.
Straight from the Gene and Dave Show.
Yep. Number 10.
Because you deserve it.
That's right. I know I deserve it. Okay. Number 9.
Make a gift to yourself.
Yeah. Be a great gift for your wife.
That's right.
Or husband.
Or husband, yeah. Number 8.
Relieve your stress.
Oh, my stress is going right away.
Yep.
Number 7.
You pampered your kids, now pamper yourself.
Number 6.
A great place to get stoned.
What?
Can we say that?
You can do that downtown in Austin. Never heard of that before.
I'll have to check that.
Oh, you mean the hot stoning, right?
The hot stone massage, yeah.
All right.
Number 5.
Better than taking pills.
Yeah, a lot better.
Definitely.
Number 4.
Not just for women.
That's right, you can see I'm enjoying this. Number 3 for the top 10 slogans of Milk and Honey.
2 things that are organic. Milk and honey.
Everybody likes to stay organic these days.
Yep. Number 2.
Milk and honey, not just for breakfast anymore.
Yeah.
That's
My
right.
favorite.
Okay. And the number 1 slogan for Milk and Honey is?
Sweetest place to park downtown.
All right. That's the top 10 list from the Dave and Gene Show for Milk and Honey.
Thank you much, Lizzie.
Thank you.
Now, I think there's a lot of us folks with disabilities need to exercise every day. And sometimes we need a little bit more help exercising. So I thought maybe we'd interview Michelle Harris, who's a PT here in town, and see what the kind of tips she can give us on staying healthy.
That's great. Let's go talk to her.
Let's do that. Michelle, thanks so much for being with us today. It's a real pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you.
Michelle, you're a physical therapist. You've been in the Austin area for quite some time. You know, you're the person we go to when we have questions about physical therapy. What role does physical therapy have in a person's health regime, particularly a person with mobility impairment, say someone like myself?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a really interesting question because after rehab, then you have this life with some level, possibly, of physical impairment. And I think what is interesting is an interesting aspect of physical therapy for long-term health with an individual with mobility impairment is that it is dynamic. We think of an injury as being something static, but it's not, because as you age, it's very dynamic. And so I would say some of the main components to a physical therapist's involvement in mobility impairments would be over time to look at muscle balance, make sure that we are maximizing muscle balance on the different sides of the joint to decrease the chances of osteoarthritis and joint problems. Pain management and tone management would be two aspects that we address quite commonly. Posture, not only in a wheelchair, but also posture in the workplace and posture in everyday activities, and how that ties into muscle balance around the joints that are trying to be functional in that activity. And then just the plethora of aging issues as one ages with overuse or with pain, and just looking over time at those issues and making sure we stay on top of that.
You know, as I got older, I got a little bit bigger, and I thought I would start exercising. I thought I would lose some weight, but the only thing exercise did for me was make me more hungry. But I suppose it did help me with all the things that you just mentioned there.
Oh, I'm sure that it did. I'm sure that it did.
If someone wants to get involved with the physical therapy program, where do they start? What's the first step?
Yeah, well, in Texas, you can see a physical therapist. You can get evaluated without a referral. So you could come to me or come to a therapist and say, you know, I'm having these issues. I'd really like to get evaluated for the possibility of a treatment plan, and that therapist can evaluate you without a physician's referral. At that point, though, in Texas, we don't treat without referral, and so I would send my eval to your physician or a physician of choice and say, you know, on this date, I evaluated Mr. Rogers, and I see these issues, and this is my recommendation for a treatment plan. And at that point, I would procure a prescription for that treatment plan. If you have a physician that you see ongoingly, you can just ask him or her for a prescription for a physical therapist or an occupational therapist for evaluation and treatment. And at that point, the same thing happens. The evaluation goes to the physician. They do a look-see on the plan and then write off on it. So either way you go, the communication between the physician and an ancillary healthcare practitioner like myself should be tight.
All right, established protocol. Okay. Let's say a person's on Medicare. They want physical therapy. I heard something to the effect that Medicare doesn't pay for therapy that only maintains certain health functions. Is that the truth?
Well,
help us with that.
Yeah, I think that's a big fear, and I think that certainly semantics go a long way. We don't want to use the word maintain because that shows a static type of situation. And like we said in the first question, there's absolutely nothing static about an individual aging with a mobility impairment. It's a very dynamic process, and we need to appreciate it as such. So in that respect, I think that if there are issues that would bring you to a therapist, even if it's just to establish a good exercise program, we just simply would not use that word maintain because there's nothing about maintenance about it. We're going to set specific goals around the things that we discussed in the first, at the beginning. Set specific goals around muscle imbalance, around tone management, around pain management, around posture, around assistive devices or assistive equipment. And, those goals need to be objective, need to be measurable, and at that point, a third-party payment comes with the territory, just like any other intervention. You always run that risk of not getting paid, but there's always true goals. And if there's not true goals, then it would be unethical for me as a physical therapist to treat you. The maintenance part of it, once your home exercise program or your protocol is established and you're independent with it, then you're independent with it and you don't need me anymore. But to establish it, that's not maintenance.
So I could come to your office for treatment. Is it possible you could come to my room and perhaps tell the people that work for me perhaps how to stretch my legs or help me with some therapy?
Yeah, now that's an interesting question because establishing a homebound status in order to get home health therapy is a little bit different. a little bit different animal than going to an outpatient practice. You're obviously a very able, environmentally and community-abled individual, and you would not qualify for home therapy. So I'd have to see you in the office.
All right. Let's say I want to take advantage of some of the resources in the community. What sort of things do we have here in Austin? I know the one entity that I take advantage of is the St. David's Wheelchair Fitness Center. I go there every now and then, and they help me get strapped up with bicycles and whatnot. And,
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, well, there's a number of, the two main ones, St. David's, the Wheelchair Fitness Center, and then also the Brain Spine Center that's housed at Breckenridge. And
Is that open to the public?
yeah, you know, Mike Haynes and a couple of the individuals over there kind of run that program, and I think we'd have to talk with them regarding what part of it is open to the community and what part of it is more third-party payment driven. But I know that there is a large area of that's open to the community. The other thing is there's a number of community pools that have lift systems down into them, and it might take a little homework, but aquatics is always a really good option as well.
I used to use the Stacy Pool all the time. Even in the middle of the winter, I'd be out there, and the lifeguards would be wearing long winter coats, and I'd be in the pool. Well, Michelle, that's been very helpful. Anything else you want to leave us with that we can share with our audience?
Well, I think probably the thing that I would leave anybody with, whether you're getting older with, living with and getting older with a mobility impairment, or if you're just living and getting older, is to not let things go. That if you're feeling pain, if you're feeling weakness or a decrease in your function in any way, have somebody take a look at it. There's a lot of things that can be done. There's a lot of things that happen when the muscles are not balanced throughout a joint, a lot of things that happen with poor posture, and they can evolve into things that can be a real problem. And so I think that's what I take home, is we all live very busy lives, and we are all getting older, and
So
we
we
need
need
to,
to find time for help.
absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Michelle, thank you so very much. Back to you, Dave.
Well, we're still here at Milk and Honey, just enjoying all the relaxation today. It just feels good in this place, just like the name says, Milk and Honey. Just quite a... What are you doing? We're trying to tape a TV show here, and you're chewing on... What are you chewing on?
I'm sorry, Dave, but I didn't have time to brush. You know, I just was over there at Euclid Avenue, got a Polish poor boy, a nice Polish sausage, coleslaw, and then French fries with barbecue sauce. Anyway, I didn't have time to brush my teeth, so I got a fuzzy brush.
It's a fuzzy brush.
It's a little plastic brush. Put it in your mouth, move it around with your tongue to brush your teeth. Has a breath freshener on it. Has some type of like toothpaste on it. It's real good for, you know, especially those of us folks with limited dexterity. They have a hard time brushing their teeth. Just put one of these in our mouth. We're set to go. And I use the same one like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then toss it out.
So this is this little pink plastic ball that you handed me.
Yeah.
I thought that
That's
you were
what
giving
it
me
is.
something out of a dime machine or something to take home, but no, this is actually a toothbrush in this little thing. It'll fit in your pocket.
Yeah, you just pop it in your pocket. It's real convenient. Just take it out when you need it. Put it back when you're done.
And it's got the toothpaste and everything built right in. You don't need to rinse or anything.
Don't need water or anything.
You're good to go. Wow, how handy is that?
Yeah,
And you don't even have to use your hands to use it,
right.
which comes in handy for you, right?
Oh yeah, you know, dental hygiene is real important for quads like myself that use our teeth a lot to tear stuff open, or use a mouth stick to type. So very important for to keep your teeth healthy.
That sounds great. Well, I'll have to try this out. Thanks a lot for giving this to me.
Sure, you bet.
Michelle had some really great ideas, but sometimes you, I don't know, you need a place to go to work out. And man, I just don't know that there's any place like that here in Austin, is there?
You know, Dave, Austin's best kept secret there is one place called the Wheelchair Fitness Center, run by St. David's.
Really?
It's over there at the Hancock Center, right next to Sears, on I-35, and I use it every now and then to get buffed up for the summer, you know.
Oh yeah, looks like you've been heading over there.
Yeah. And so I filmed myself doing some exercises, and thought I'd share them with you and the rest of the folks in the audience. There's no charge for it. Just anyone with disability come in, they set you up. They've got trainers, people that help you with the exercises, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Let's go check out the Wheelchair Fitness Center.
Let's do it.
Here's Larry Turner showing me how to use the free weights. The free weights range in weight from 1 to 20 pounds. Here's Larry demonstrating the Bowflex. He's going to do some chest presses here and then some incline presses. And of course you could also turn sideways. He's taking his handle off here to show you could put a cuff around your wrist and attach to this Bowflex. Not unlike the fur-lined cuff I use in my bedroom. Here I am exercising my pecs and my anterior deltoids. Oh hey, look at that braid, pretty sharp, huh? I've probably got about 200 pounds on this machine right now. Here I am exercising my lats, and not only is it good exercise, but I can stretch my arms out this way, stretch my shoulders out, and it just really feels good to stretch out every now and then. Here I am on the hand cycle, and you can see that I'm using some ace bandages to wrap my wrist around there, keep them in place, and of course Larry's there encouraging me, really motivating me, so I'm really working harder. I want to show him I really appreciate his help there. He's kind of surprised on how fast I'm going, but hey, I'm here to work out. I'm really here to get going, get buffed up.
Wow, just watching that, just watching the exercise gets me tired. Say, Liz, can I have another one of these M&Ms?
Yes, blue, right?
Yep, just blue.
There you go.
Thanks. Wow, it really made me tired. I don't know about you, Dave, but Dave, are you awake? Are you sleeping?
Yeah, oh man, I'm here. Oh man, I am relaxed. Oh, just being treated like the king.
You're really loving it here in Elkin, honey, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I am. Man, I had no idea.
I think maybe the both of us could just retire here. Say, Lizzie, would you get me another M&M?
Sure, what color this time?
Just blue.
Only blue, got it. There you go.
So why only the blue, Gene?
Hard to believe, Dave, but there have been some articles on the web recently about blue M&Ms curing spinal cord injury. And hey, if I want to get healthy, I kind of get cured, right? It actually turns out it's the dye, the blue dye, that cures spinal cord injuries. At least in experiments on rats. You folks can read about it on the web. I'm not making this up. But anyway, I think it's a good excuse to have a beautiful woman feeding your balloons and have it on TV. So it's working well for me.
That's right. Speaking of workouts, Gene, I'm reminded of the fitness regime that Terry started several years ago, and we actually did a piece for it in Actual Lives.
You did a great job there doing that fitness routine. I'd like to take a look at this. Let's watch together.
Let's check this out.
Like the rest of everybody in America, with the holidays coming, I started a fitness routine. To get healthy. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I prefer swimming at the health club. And nothing clears the pool quicker than a crippled girl trying to get into the water. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are slated for seated aerobics. I do all this, of course,
don't seem to go yet. Hey, hi! Comb your hair. Comb your hair. Oh, comb your hair. Yes! We need to dry our hair. 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 Remember to breathe. Good. Throw your towel on the floor. Throw your towel on the floor. Upside down. Upside down. Throw your towel on the floor. Good. Good. Comb your hair again. Comb your hair. This side first. This side first. Now to the other side. Comb your hair. Comb your hair. Uh-oh. You don't want to lay on that. Pick up that towel off the floor. Forgot our deodorant. Remember to smile, keep sweating, and remember, you are special.
Wow, you're a real fitness fanatic there.
Boy, sometimes in your life, you know, you just look back at some of the things that you do, and they're just so crazy.
They really are. And you got everyone to do it with you too, so a real fitness leader.
Right. It was a lot of fun. Actual Lives was so much fun, and you know, and it got us here to, you know, doing the Dave and Gene show.
You're right. Yeah, that's how it all started.
That's right. That's right. So, but we're still here at Milk and Honey, and we're still talking about health with folks. You know, Gene, talking about health, I can't help but think about one of the biggest health hazards for people that use wheelchairs has got to be those pressure sores.
Oh, jeez.
And they're so hard to get rid of, and just so hard to treat, because the way you've got to treat them is to not be sitting down. And how do you live your life without sitting down? But supposedly you've found some medical miracle that's done right here in Austin, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, a few years back, I had a pressure sore. And, I had to stay in bed for a couple months, and I was going crazy. I had to actually mount my computer to my ceiling with some peripherals that I could still operate the computer, because I was just going crazy when I was in bed. But fortunately, there's something called Miracle Mist. Our friend Sharon Gardner introduced this to me. You can just spray this on the sore. It's got all kinds of ingredients in there that really help the tissue to renew itself. And Sharon has so many stories she was telling me about people that have been calling her back to reorder some of this Miracle Mist, saying, you know, this works so good, I've got to get some more.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a testimony in itself when people are reordering this. And it's completely safe. You don't have to worry about getting in your eyes, getting in your mouth. And in fact, people sprayed it on their eyes when you get an eye infection, or Sharon says she's used to spray in her mouth when she feels the sore throat coming on. But it comes in a bottle, this nice sized bottle here. Yeah, it comes in these handy bottles, both as liquid and as a cream. And it comes in a nice travel size. The stories I hear about this Miracle Mist, it sounds like a miracle. And people want to see before and after pictures of people who use this. Go to the Miracle Mist website. It's actually Badass Spray. And our link will be on our webpage, so they can catch it there. It's excellent stuff. Can't say enough good stuff about it. You know, that exercise we did before, it makes me kind of hungry. And So I thought it might be a good idea if we included Chef Mikael Davenport to be part of our show. And so he cooked up some nice stuff for us. And
You wouldn't spend an evening at his house, right?
You know, Dave, I really go to bat for this team here. I'll really do some hard work for us. So yeah, I had him fix us up some really nice Japanese style food with a Texas twist.
Great.
I'm sure you'll like it.
And it's healthy.
And it's healthy, absolutely.
So Mikhail's going to tell us how to eat right as well.
You got it.
All right, let's watch this.
Welcome to the Gene and Dave Show. We're here today with Mikael Davenport, who's an excellent chef, and we're lucky today because he's going to cook us up some of his specialties. Mikael, thank you so much for having us here today.
It's my pleasure indeed. Good to have you in my home.
Thank you. What kind of treats are we going to cook up today?
Well, we're going to do something a little Japanesey and a little Tejano mixed together. We're doing a tsunamono salad, which is a cucumber, vinegar, seaweed salad with green onions, and we're doing the what is known as temaki, which is a cone roll type of sushi. But we're not using fish, we're using filet mignon that we're going to rub down with some spices and gently cook very quickly just to take the edge off of it. Don't want to get it too cooked, otherwise we lose the sushi concept. And we'll roll that up with some pico de gallo and some alfalfa sprouts.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
I think you'll like it.
Let's get started.
Okay, great. Well, first thing we want to do is we have a cup of wakame seaweed, which is a black seaweed, and it comes dried. And you can get it in sheets or shredded like this. First thing we want to do is to soak it in some water and soften it up. It might need a little more water there. And we let that sit for about 5 minutes and kind of percolate a little bit. Then we take, this is an English cucumber, otherwise known as a seedless cucumber. Could also be called a hothouse cucumber. And we trim the ends off and then cut it in half. And we want to put them on a towel. You can use paper towels. I prefer to use kitchen towels because it's much more user-friendly for the environment. I go through kitchen towels like crazy in this house.
Now I noticed you were using sea salt. Is there a reason for sea salt rather than, say, kosher salt?
Well, kosher salt usually comes in a coarse ground chunks. I use that in some of my grinders. This particular finely ground salt is a mixture of the pink Himalayan and kosher coarse salt that I grind up and use for salting lightly.
I see.
But when I do meats, chicken, turkeys, fish, I usually use my ground, thickly ground, coarsely ground kosher salt. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, our wakame, as you'll notice, has now turned a fairly nice shade of green. And now we're going to drain that, because we don't want a lot of water in our salad. And then we're going to start on our meat. So while that's sitting, the cucumbers, and you'll see this on the website, the recipe, you want to have the cucumbers sit and let the salt leach a lot of the water out of them for about, I'd say 20 minutes. And then we're going to pat them dry. In the meantime, we're going to take our filet mignon. That's a beautiful cut of filet, isn't it? We're going to take our filet mignon and we're going to cut it into thirds. Then we're going to do a little rubbing. Now I tend to buy prepackaged rubs because they're easier to use. This one happens to be a Cattleman's Choice beef rub. And it's salt and sugar, pepper, Italian pepper flakes, A little bit of garlic powder. We rub that into the meat. We flip it over.
I understand Cattleman's also makes a sauce that's used by a vast majority of steakhouses.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And then we're going to set that aside, let it sit there for a little bit while we continue on with our salad. Then we take them and put them in a bowl. There we go. And we add some of our wakame seaweed. That's about enough right there. I'm what is known as a dump cook. I don't measure a lot of things. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If it's an absolute necessity to measure, like when you're making sushi rice has to be measured exactly and cooked exactly or it doesn't come out right. Most of the time, dump cooking is the best way to do it. Salt and pepper and taste. Salt and pepper and taste.
With taste perhaps being the most important there, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because there's nothing worse than a dish that's overly salted. So this is about 1/4 cup of green onions, roughly, maybe a little more.
I love onions.
Okay, well, we'll put a little more in there for you. All right. When I was talking about sanitation earlier, the same thing applies to your knives and your other kitchen utensils. You want to constantly keep them clean. There's nothing worse than picking up a knife and having a big old stain on the blade. It's just not good at all. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to take some seasoned vinegar. This is rice wine vinegar.
Is there a special? Can you hold that?
Sure. Nakano is the one I use. You can get it almost anywhere. It's an excellent seasoned rice vinegar. The difference between regular rice vinegar and seasoned rice vinegar is that there's a little bit of sugar added to the seasoned rice vinegar. Now, we're going to take, instead of sugar, which I don't use, I use agave nectar for my sweetening agent. My wife uses an herb called stevia for her cooking, but I find it a little too sweet for me. So what I do is take a little agave nectar, and we're just going to put, about a tablespoon or less in there. And then we're going to stir that up. Mixing it very well. That looks good. And then we're just going to pour it over the mixture and then toss it. You try to separate the cucumbers so that they get the flavor of the wakame seaweed and the vinegar mixture. Interesting note, in the name Tsunamono, which is Japanese, su is the word for vinegar. So whenever you see a dish with su in the title, it usually entails some vinegar. For example, sushi uses vinegar in the rice.
I see.
And it's always rice wine vinegar.
Now, did you also spend time in Japan?
No, but I did have my Tai Chi teacher. His wife was an excellent cook of a lot of Asian cuisines, and she taught me a lot of little tricks about cooking Asian meals. So we'll just let that sit for now. And we'll get on to our meat, which should have sat long enough by now.
You appear to me to be someone who's in great health, and I'm sure your cooking had something to do with it. And I also understand you did you rode a bicycle, was it 1,500 miles across Texas?
Hand cycle, 950 miles.
950 miles.
Yeah, I don't think I could do 1,500. I almost died on this 950 mile ride. I stay in shape because I'm in my chair so much. I keep in shape by going to the gym 3 days a week. I've recently had a little back injury, so I've been out of the gym for a while. So I'm not as up to par as I'd like to be. But I also hand cycle as often as I can. I try to do twice a week down at Town Lake.
Oh.
There's a wonderful 10-mile circuit that a friend of mine and I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So
A fantastic way to get exercise
Absolutely.
and enjoy the great outdoors at the same time.
absolutely. What we have here is we have just, I'd say about a teaspoon of olive oil in this pan. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up this puppy, and you'll notice I have a gas range. Gas is really the best way to cook because you can control the temperature perfectly. You tend not to have grease fires as much on a gas burner as you do a electric burner. I don't know why, but that's been my experience. The last electric stove I had a grease fire happen because I wasn't minding the store, and we had a little spattering and it hit the burner plate and caught on fire, and I had to throw an extinguisher into my wonderful meal. So you just want to get the olive oil loose and get the pan hot, because all we're going to do is just sear these 3 pieces of meat. We're not going to overly cook them. They're going to be closer to rare than medium rare, but they are going to be cooked a little bit on the outside.
Well, just the way I like them.
There you go. Now, always watch your olive oil, no matter how much you're using, and watch for it to begin to turn a little wavy. Can you see how wavy it is in there? It looks like it's ripples in a river. That means that it's getting hot enough. Just about to smoke. Okay? We turn our heat down to medium-high, roughly, and we let it go a little longer until it really starts. You can see the wave action in there, where it's kind of rippling. And it's just about ready to start smoking.
Well, Mikhail, it seems to me that you have a rather disciplined approach to health. You watch very carefully what you eat, you make sure to exercise. That sounds like it's a great way to keep in shape. A lot of us are just too lazy.
Well, you know, there isn't a single person, just regardless of their disability, who cannot exercise. They have some wonderful pieces of exercise equipment now. One especially that I like is what's called a stand-up rack, and you roll your wheelchair into it, and if you are a quadriplegic or a paraplegic and can't stand on your legs, you roll into it. You then take these handles and move them back and forth, and just like an elliptical trainer for like a Nordic track, you know what there, it literally pumps you up into a standing position. You're locked in with a brace, kind of. Locks you into a standing position, and they can roll you to the weight line. You can do pulley weights, you can do barbells, you can do dumbbells while you're standing in this contraption, held perfectly safe and sound.
Sounds like it's good for circulation too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, that should about do it. We just want a little bit. Okay. See, the meat is still limp, and you want that. You don't want any tightness on the meat. Then we're going to put these in here and let them sit for a few minutes to kind of come to rest. You always want to let meat rest after you cook it. You don't want to serve it immediately upon cooking, because if you let it rest, it literally pulls the juices back into itself. As the meat cools and tends to contract a little bit, just like putting ice on your skin makes it contract, okay? Heat expands, cold contracts.
Mm-hmm.
As the meat contracts, it literally sucks all the juices that it's bled out from the act of being warm or cooked into itself. That's why all grillers after they do their steaks, put them somewhere like in an oven, covered, and let them just sit for about 5 or 10 minutes. So the heat is still in there, but the meat absorbs its juices back, and you get a much juicier cut of meat. Same thing with fish and chicken.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mikhail, that's great advice, but it smells so delicious. Boy, it's hard not to just jump on that right now.
I understand. So we want to toss our salad some more here.
That's a beautiful green color there.
Isn't that beautiful? I love wakame seaweed. Now, one of the nice things about wakame is it comes dried in these packages like this, Pacific wakame, and you can reconstitute it, squeeze it dry using a cup towel, or if you have to, a paper towel, and then put it in soups, salads like this. If you've ever had or made miso soup, wakame is an excellent seaweed to drop in the miso soup, and because you've squeezed most of the liquid out of it, it absorbs the flavor of the miso.
Oh, I see. Bulks up.
And so you have a thickening agent as well. Wakame also thickens, just like onions do in a stew, or adding flour and butter to a roux. Seaweed, if it's allowed to soak just long enough, usually 5 minutes for shredded wakame, it will tighten up the dish a little bit. So, okay.
Fantastic. Gee, Dave, I'm sorry you can't be with us for this shoot, but I'm doing my best to be out here reporting for you. I'll let you know how it goes.
We're going to have to get Dave over here and have him come try some of this. Now, you can see that it's pretty close to rare, medium rare at this point. And you don't want to cut it too thick. See, now we're getting into that wonderful
that's beautiful
color. Yeah, I love the color of meat like that. That's a little thick, but I'm sure you can handle it.
I appreciate your confidence.
Now you'll notice I'm using the same vegetable knife to cut my meat. That's because I've used chef's knives before. They're fine for a lot of jobs, but I like to only have to wash one thing at a time.
There you go.
I'm lazy in the kitchen. Okay. We want to save that last piece for the cameraman, who is doing all this hard work while we're enjoying ourselves.
Well, if he does a good job, I suppose.
He seems to be doing a good job so far.
For our audience out there, the cameraman is Andy Cochran, who videoed the documentary, the Everest documentary. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. In 2003, a group of folks with disabilities from Austin made a trek to the Everest Base Camp, and Andy filmed that, made a documentary on it, and I believe it's available on Amazon.com.
It's a great film. It's a great film. Okay, so since we're about ready to do our temaki, we want to serve our salad up. I think that's enough for you, Boyle?
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right, good. All right. So we'll just set these in the window, and we'll get them when we come around for the temaki. Okay. Now, whenever you are going to make sushi of any kind, whether it's maki rolls, which are the round cut rolls, or the temaki, which is the cone roll, you always want to buy seaweed that is toasted. You can see the shine on that side.
Oh, yeah.
There's not as much of a shine on this side. The shiny side always goes up. Okay.
And the roasting, does that add another flavor or level of texture, or?
Actually, it keeps it from becoming too soggy too quickly.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now, we're going to take some rice. Let me wash my hands. Some people use a spatula, like this little wooden guy here, to dip the rice and spread it. So I'll use that, but sometimes I use my hands. Now, you notice how sticky and viscous this rice is. It has to be fairly sticky in order to hold together when you're making sushi. So we want to take and kind of spread it out along the inside of the nori like this, and you can use your spatula to do this. Kind of press it down and smooth it out a little bit. You don't want it too thick. There we go. Let's take that and stick it down there. All right. Then
Now, can I cook this type of rice in the traditional rice cooker?
absolutely. It's actually much easier to do in a rice cooker, but I'm prone not to use a lot of appliances that I don't have to. So if I can cook it on the stove, then I will. Okay, so we've got our rice down now. The first thing we do is we take some of the meat. It's a very simple process. Just lay it in there. One more. Let's get a nice long piece here. There we go. And we press it down onto the rice. Then we take some, now pico de gallo, tomatoes, onions, serrano peppers, and cilantro with a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil. This one happens to use red onions. You can use sweet onions, whatever you feel like using.
Oh, I love the aroma of that cilantro.
It's great. You just put a little bit on there like that, about a tablespoon or so, and then you fold the nori up like that, and then wet your fingers, and you wet the outer edge here and fold it over, and then you wet this outer edge and roll it into a cone, just like that. So it looks like one of those Nutty Buddies. Remember those?
Sure. Oh,
with the ice cream cone. Okay, so there's that one.
So that's a banquet for the eyes as well as for
It is. It is. So we'll do the same thing now. Normally, temaki, which is the cone roll again, temaki is usually eaten right away, but because we're going to be eating in just a second, I don't think it's going to be an issue. If you let it sit too long, like longer than 10 minutes, it gets kind of tough and hard to bite through. That's why if you ever go to the supermarket and buy sushi, you want to buy sushi that has been freshly prepared, usually as they put it out.
I see.
Now the chilling sometimes does the same trick as extending the life of the sushi, but I don't particularly like to eat sushi that isn't immediately made. It just doesn't seem right to me. Okay, so a little more. This is the Texas twist that I was talking about. A little pico de gallo on there just brings it all out.
It's a beautiful combination of colors, aromas, textures.
Now, yep, and we want to, on this one we're going to put a little alfalfa sprouts on it, see, because we want to brighten it up a little bit. Whoop, trying to run away. So you just dampen it, and then you just roll it like a cone. And there you are. All right?
Great.
So, why don't we go to the table?
Let's do that.
All right.
Oh, this looks delicious. Smells delightful.
Okay.
Mikhail, would you open up this eyeglass case down here,
Sure.
please? And I've got a fork and strap in there. If you'd
Okay.
set that on the table, I'd appreciate it.
All righty. You do this yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll just kind of open up that strap a little bit so I have room to. Yeah.
Okay.
You can just set it right here. It'd be great.
Okay. So,
Great.
manja.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Very chewy, very subtle.
Mm.
Perfect on a hot summer's day. If you chill it after you let it melt, let the flavors melt.
You know, the seaweed is very tasty. I wouldn't have imagined that, but it's great.
The beauty of seaweed, just like tofu, is that it absorbs the flavors of whatever you mix it with.
Ah. Well, that's great for this dish. Let's try this other one,
Okay,
shall
good.
we?
All right. Now the secret is to just wrap your mouth around it and bite down like you would on a hot dog.
Okay.
All right. And then there you go. Good teeth. Good bite. Did you get any meat?
Mm.
A little bit. Okay. A little pico. Okay. Now you can see how the seaweed even adds its own particular flavor to it. It's like a green vegetable flavor, which it is. It's sea vegetables, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's surprising. It looks like a simple dish, but God, it tastes so wonderful.
And it's so easy. Want another one? Do I have to twist your arm? There you go. All right.
Mm.
I think you do this for the food, huh?
This reporter has to do his job.
There you go. There you go.
Well, Dave, and to the rest of our audience out there, thank you so much for joining us with Mikhail Davenport, an excellent chef. And join us next time on the Gene and Dave Show.
Gene and Dave? I thought it was Dave and Gene.
No, it's Gene and Dave. I bet he put you up to this, didn't he?
Well, I do have $5 burning a hole in my pocket.
That's just like that.
Don't want to got to, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well,
So I'm dying to know, how did it taste?
it was great. It really was. It actually tasted healthy. I don't know how you describe healthy, but it tasted good.
But it looked like it tasted good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really did. And we'll have Mikhail's recipes on our website as well, so folks can try this at home.
Okay.
You know, Dave, I can't believe this tough stuff I do for this job, but we've got Lizzie here giving me a massage, and if you want to get treated right, you just go to Milk and Honey downtown.
That's right.
They've got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of treatments for you. But we've had a great time doing the show here on Milk and Honey.
Yeah, Milk and Honey's been great to us. It's been such a relaxing day here. We've had quite the pampering treatment. If we want to get a hold of Milk and Honey, what's the phone number?
The phone number here, Lizzie, is?
236-1115.
Tell Gene and Dave sent you.
And you're located conveniently downtown?
We have a spa and a salon downtown in the 2nd Street District and in Bee Cave, Texas. Of course, we have a spa location as well.
All right. And a website?
It's www.milkandhoneyspa.com.
Great.
Great. Well, be sure when you come in to tell them that the Gene and Dave show sent you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it. Well, I sure have enjoyed the health episode.
Oh, me too. We got to do this more often.
That's right. I hope you have enjoyed the health episode too. And remember to log on to, if you like the show, or even if you don't like the show, log on to our website and tell us what you think. And speaking of our website, it is new and improved.
Absolutely, Dave. You know, we work with Trademark Media and Ability to get this to be one of the most accessible sites around. And it's not only accessible, but it's very aesthetic. It's just really eye-catching.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about in previous episodes about technology and trying to make websites accessible. Well, we got with the right crew this last time, thanks to Knowbility and their Air Austin competition. So check out our website and see how we did.
Absolutely. Hope you enjoy it. Have an accessible day.